him a shot to do what?
Boom, book clock. No, I don't know. What up, everybody?
Yeah,
Don't adjust your sets. We're here.
We good.
Oh, the Facebook felon, Yellow Man in the building in the Give Us a Shot Network studio. The Give Us a Shot Network podcast. We don't really know what to call it. Just happy hour. Presented by Fast Break Coffee. Powered by Fast Break Coffee. Presented by the Give Us a Shot Network. Sponsored, as always, by the haters. Cheers to the haters. Keep doing what y'all doing, because we're going to keep doing what we're doing. And that's just that. What's up, brother?
Hey, man. I'm happy. I'm happy to see you.
I'm happy to see you,
I'm happy
man.
family's here.
I know.
Everything is irie. Everything is irie.
Kids are in the other room, having a good time, having a blast. Cousins, it's nice to see the young cousins hang out with each other and see each other.
It's like us.
It is.
Right?
In the past.
Yes.
It's weird. It's weird to see. It's weird to experience. I do love it. And I just, I'm here for a full week, so hopefully this isn't the only time. Obviously, we're going to get Mike back later in the week. They're out somewhere in La La Land having a good time.
L.A.
L.A.
Is that what they are? Or California? Is it L.A.? Or?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my version of the story. They're in L.A. I don't know.
West Coast.
They're on the West Coast. They'll be back later this week. We'll try to get Bert and Corey. We'll try to get the gang all here in some form or fashion. But until then, you got us. And we didn't have a plan. We just said, hey, we're going to go live because we don't get many opportunities to do so. And so and this is not just sports. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, I hope.
Happy hour. Well, it might get crazy.
It might
get wild hour. But
Wild hour.
we're going to start happy. We're going to start happy hour.
Yeah, listen, Mike's not here. So when Mike's away, the kids get to play, and we're going to talk about stuff. And I just want to, before we get to all the fun stuff, we're going to get to Philly, another disappointing loss, but hope is on the horizon. Joel Embiid is back on the practice court. How do you feel? How are you feeling? Because I'm telling you, once we slipped into the play-in, I was like, fuck, it's over. But then, hold up. Joel Embiid, fresh cornrows on that thing.
Oh, yeah. You look kind of fly.
Cornrow Embiid coming bike for the playoffs or play-in. To me, it's the best possible outcome because you'll pull like a Cleveland or whoever. I don't know who the 6th and 7th seeds are if it ain't us. Let me look up the East standings real fast because if we can, I was scared of the play-in at first, but if you can pull an easy, the problem is you'll play the hard teams earlier, but.
Let's get out the way. You got to play them anyway, right? So, like, what does it really matter? You got to play these teams anyway. You're going to have to play one of these teams. Like, if you can get one of the Celtics or the Bucks out of the way in the first round, then you don't got to really worry about them. You're tested, and hopefully that gets you ready to be ready for the Eastern Conference Finals against the other one.
Yeah.
No matter what our ranking is, I don't care what anybody says. I still like us as the third best team. No. So, like.
It's not gonna. Nobody will until they see what Embiid looks like.
Well, obviously, with a somewhat healthy, with a 75% healthy Embiid, I feel like we're still the third best team. I think any other team in the East besides the Bucks and the Celtics, I feel comfortable beating in a 7-game series.
So we're currently sitting at 8th.
True.
And so that'll put us in a play-in game versus the Bulls, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, who else is there? Like, you have the Pacers down there, right?
So the Pacers are currently the 6th seed at 41 wins.
Oh, wow.
The Heat are at the 7th seed with 39. The Heat and us have the same record, and then the Bulls have 35 wins, and then the Hawks are the 10th seed. So the way the play into it, I guess the Heat would play the lower seed, right? So the Heat would play the Hawks, we would play the Bulls because it's the 8-9 matchup, and then after that. We'll play the winner of the Hawks or the Heat. I feel good versus both those teams, to be honest, as it currently stands with a 75% Embiid. But the plan for me, if Embiid can come back in the next 2 weeks, let's say in 2 weeks he can come back and play the last 3 games to get warmed up. I would be okay with him sitting out versus the Hawks, depending on how the game's going, or at least coming off the bench, seeing how we do, and then if it doesn't seem like we can't handle the Hawks by the mid of the first or early in the second, then you put him in, because I think at that point he can make a difference to beat that team. But give him 3 games to play and just kind of reassess and rest and give him that extra few, little bit of time. I know a lot of fans aren't going to like hearing that. I'm just trying to think of him being healthy for the real playoffs. Like, all right, because we got these 2 playing games we got to play now. And there is a chance we can sneak into the Pacers are at 41 wins. We're at 39. It's going to be tough to catch to make up those games.
We do. I checked our schedule a couple of days ago, and it seemed like we don't have a lot of tough games. I mean, we can win a lot of games remaining, even without Embiid. I mean, we beat the Clippers. We had chance against.
We should have beat them twice.
Yeah, for real. We should have beat them twice. I mean, and they're premier team in the West, so. I think that we still have a good chance. We played the Nets left. We have some other below average teams.
Today we play the Cavaliers. Today is March 29th. So we got the Cavs at home. Or no, they're at home. And then we got the Raptors. We go to the Raptors, and then we host the Thunder. That's going to be a tough game. But then you're right. It's the Heat. We finished the season. The last 6 games of the season are the Heat, the Grizzlies, the Spurs, the Pistons, the Magic, and the Nets.
Come on, those are basically all wins, except for the Heat are is a little scary, right? Because the Heat are the Heat, but the rest, come on, man. We should be W's, especially knowing where we're at and what we're trying to do. We're not these regular teams. We have aspirations of winning a championship still to this day. So we gotta be about the business. Not having Doc Rivers makes me feel confident. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like Nick Nurse seems to be much more. Smart about things, and it seems like right now we're doing a lot of testing. We're doing a lot of trying to prepare for the playoffs, and we're not too worried about the regular season. More so, just trying to get prepared for the playoffs. Because no matter where we fall in, we still got to go into the playoffs and play. And I think we have a chance against basically anybody outside of the top 2 teams. I think we need some kind of miracle to beat those kind of teams, but anything can happen.
The good news is if Embiid does come back, and granted he's back healthy. Like his knee, he's not coming back relatively early from a knee injury. He feels pretty good about it. A healthy Embiid, I do feel good about playing the Celtics, because what this time has taught us is that it gave Paul Reed and Mo Bamba meaningful big minutes that they otherwise wouldn't have gotten. Yeah. So now I'm comfortable pulling Embiid out early in the second quarter, giving Mo Bamba and Paul Reed extended minutes. Now they both still find themselves getting into foul trouble. But that's okay when they're the second and third, not the first and second options, when we don't have any other bigs. It's a shame that Kenny Lofton Jr. didn't pan out, but
man, what's the dude's name with the dreads that we just seen with the locks that we just seen? The new guy.
He looked number 20. Yeah, I
forgot his name. He looked good. Yeah, he looked good, and Paul Reed's been looking good. Mo Bamba's been serviceable. Right. But I don't know. We'll see how the playoffs go. I mean, it's going to be tough. For some reason, teams seem like they don't play a lot of players in the playoffs. I don't get that. Like I don't know. If I was a head coach, I'd play my whole lineup maybe. I played all my players. Depending on the matchups, obviously, depending on the certain scenarios. But it seems like you shorten that lineup to 7, 8, 9 people at the most. And it's like, well, why? I mean, why not? Give a couple minutes to some players, just to see what might happen, especially when you have young guys that want to make a name for themselves and prove themselves.
Shout out to Mike Hughes, the Shy Kid. He just wrapped up on the Give Us a Shot Network YouTube page. Go ahead and give that a subscribe. We're fastly approaching 2,500 subscribers. He says, first time caller, long time listener. First time, long time. Do y'all miss Pat Bev? 1,000% I miss Pat Bev. Now, that being said, I am extremely happy with Kyle Lowry, because I did not think he would give us what he's been able to give us. Again, thanks to the injury to Joel Embiid. I don't think Kelly Oubre would be as, and we're about to get to him in a second, but when I saw Kelly Oubre go after the refs after that malicious non-call.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
He became a Sixer for life.
Real quick, before we get to Oubre, let me talk real quick on Bev. Yeah. We got Cameron Payne for Pat Bev.
Yes.
So we got to never forget that. The fact that Cameron Payne has panned out to be really freaking good.
Yeah, you're right.
And Pat Bev basically broke his hand, I heard recently. We obviously won that trade, and we're much better off a campaign and Kyle Lowry together than Pat Bev right now.
You know what? I agree. I overlook campaign. I was not a fan of him because all I remember of him is the like goofy dancing he did in OKC. And I completely forgot what a great role player he is. And again, these moves we made at the trade deadline, I know a lot of people were upset that we didn't land Drummond, but honestly, we made those moves with the Sixers team fully expecting Joel Embiid to come back. Buddy Hield will be a lot better when Joel Embiid comes back.
Yeah.
Campaign is going, even though he's been really good and to me exceeded expectations, is going to be really good when Joel Embiid comes back. Listen, I'm a big Tobias Harris fan. I do get the criticisms and I do get the frustrations with him sometimes. I think people pocket watch. I'm not a big pocket watch guy. He is who he's always been to me, and he's still averaging 17 and 6. Yeah. Like I mean, I don't know what do you want? Like so I get that. Yes, there's times. It's just when the team is not playing well, it's automatically for some reason in a lot of fans' eyes on Tobias Harris to pick up the slack. It just doesn't work like that. Some games you have it, some games you don't.
It's crazy that they slander him, but when he has those good games, which is often, it's not like he has. It's just
he had one really bad stretch recently where it was like an extended, and he's had bad stretches before. This one was like a straight 2 week. Yeah, like he just couldn't. But again, telling him he's a piece of shit after every bad shot or every shot, like that doesn't negative reinforcement.
Especially if you're not giving him the praise when he's actually playing very well, and he played very well in the playoffs the past few years. So I got to give him the slack.
It's like like when he plays well, it's like, well, that's what you get paid to do. But then when he plays well, oh, you're getting paid too much, piece of shit. Da, da, da. I'm like, who does? All you burger flippers out there, when you're having a bad day, you're not making the double whoppers as fast as you make it. If somebody tells you that you fucking suck, is that going to make you make the burgers better or any faster? No, like it hurts you. Like it doesn't. It's just that pressure doesn't help anybody. We should be supporting our guy. He wears a Sixers uniform, and maybe that'll change next year. Maybe it's just funny to me that if he made less money, he would be okay. And to me, that doesn't make sense because to me the money doesn't matter. Like these teams, like at the time his contract was huge, but these salaries fluctuate so much, and honestly, these salaries don't mean anything on paper. Russell Westbrook had 3 untradeable contracts. And he's been traded every time. Like the money doesn't matter. Like it washes out eventually, or some form of fashion. And a lot of that stuff has to do with salary cap and the cap floor and things like that. But he earned that money, and nobody made him give him that money. They gave, and this lie that you guys allowed Jimmy Butler to feed to you because he's obviously trolling you. They offered Jimmy Butler a contract before Tobias Harris. Jimmy Butler, if the Sixers even won a championship, guess what? Jimmy Butler wouldn't be here. He wanted to be the man. And at the time, it was explained to him by Elton Brand and Brett Brown and all those guys, hey, this is Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid's team. Again, revisionist history, whatever. But at the time, you couldn't argue, hey, the future is Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Sorry, Jimmy Butler. You were here to help them become franchise players. Jimmy wanted to be the man by himself, and he wanted to control everything. Guess what he got in Miami? He got all those things. Yeah. He has a roster built for him to compete. They've been done really well. They've count the bubble, but they've been in the finals. They've been far in the playoffs on the formula that Jimmy Butler wanted. So it wasn't going to work in Philly no matter what. And maybe they didn't offer him the max, but it was close to the max. And because he turned that money down, then they gave Tobias the max because they had to spend it somewhere. And there was nobody else really available to give that max to. Yeah. If Jimmy Butler would have accepted that contract, Tobias Harris probably wouldn't be here, or he would have just taken less than the max as well to keep that team together. Either way, it's not Tobias Harris's fault. Like, so enough of that. Support your team. Stop booing your players. That's stupid.
We're on Oubre. We got to talk about the Oubre situation. That was great.
So after the game the other night versus the Clippers, the second game of the Clippers, down to the wire, there was a no call or a challenge call by Nick Nurse with Tyrese Maxey. He did slip, but there was some contact. To me, it could have gone either way. I think the refs, there was a non-call on the Clipper side. To me, that was more of a makeup thing. That's how I looked at it. But earlier, maybe a minute or 2 minutes before that, on an inbound, Tyrese Maxey just ran too fast for the ball. Like I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it was crazy.
He fell.
He just fell on his own. Nobody touched him. He was like running for the day. Like I said, fell running for the ball.
He was hyper.
Yeah, and he plays that way.
He plays that way, and it's the gift and the curse, and that just happened to be the curse at that particular point in time. But to me, that was like I watched. I was like, we're gonna lose because immediately after there was a broken play and there was a foul and it was a 3-point conversion, and I was like, fuck. Sixers, you messed it up. And then Kelly Oubre goes in, really good look. They got the inbound play off of the challenge and or out of the timeout. They got the inbound play they wanted. Kelly Oubre had a one-on-one shot. Probably should have went for the floater a little earlier, but I think he was personally trying to draw the foul. I think he was trying to get as close to the basket to initiate contact, which he got. The problem was he got contact before he threw the shot up, which was technically after the buzzer, but the refs didn't call it.
Yeah, the shot that went up was after the buzzer, but no, the contact happened before the buzzer. And like we were saying before we went live, that should have been a call on the floor. It wouldn't have been necessarily a shooting foul, but we were in the penalty.
Yeah.
They were in the penalty, so we would have got free throws.
Clippers were in the bonus. I think they used their foul early because they had Maxey on a bad matchup and they knew it, and so they immediately fouled. And then Nick Nurse stormed the court, which I love.
Yo, Nick Nurse has been he's fiery. I
I
love
like
it.
I
I
like
mean, he don't care. I'm surprised he hasn't got more texts. I don't know how he doesn't get this. He probably has a complexion for the protection, but he should be having more texts. I would feel like this year.
But that's what we need. Like Doc Rivers, he complains a lot, but he wasn't up in anybody's face.
He was different with it. It was like it's different. It's more like I don't know, an annoying uncle. I don't know. And
He's
Nick
like, oh, come on, guys.
Yeah. No, Nick Nurse is like a pissed off father. No, he's angry, and I love it. Absolutely.
Nick Nurse was with the shits. Kelly Oubre walked right up to the refs.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, you a bitch. Got it? You a bitch. Got it? Your mama's a bitch. Your daddy's a bitch. Everybody. Your grandma's a bitch.
This is not paraphrasing. This is what he said. You can read his lips. He was like, he's like, you a bitch? You a bitch? Yeah. Your mom's a bitch. Yeah. I'm like, whoa, why all that?
The funny thing was like the got it after he said it. He said, hey, you a bitch? Got it? You a bitch? Got it? Your mama's a bitch. Your daddy's a bitch. Like
the two best things for me was Maxey, because like you can see the video. Maxey comes over and you can tell he hears it and he's laughing and he kind of he stops. First he's gonna stop him, but then he's just like, yo, this is funny, and then he kind of just walks away. Yeah. And then in the post game, Oubre is like talks all this God stuff like, hey man, God wouldn't have been happy with how I handled myself.
Yeah. He apologized.
I'm like, you know what, I get it. You know, it's a good card to pull at this moment, but it's like you clearly was not about that life at that moment. He was about violence at that moment.
Show me somebody in the moment, and I will show you real emotion. Who they are in that moment. Is who he is. Like this is at the end of the day, he's a competitor, and he can eat the leaves and kumbaya, and you know, the sun god and Osiris. Shout out to them. All praise be Allah. I like that. That's his vibe. I and I dig it. He's very. He can be like that, but when you're competing and adrenaline's high and the chips are stacked and it's high emotion, that's when you get the real. Mm-hmm. And at that moment, the real for him was you a bitch.
You a bitch. All y'all bitches and y'all families.
The funny thing is the ref was like, okay.
Because they knew, and that's what happened. Afterwards, what happens? The ref comes out and says, yeah, it should have been a foul. Yeah. Before the buzzer. Like, come on, man. Like I hate. This is so annoying, like to hear after the fact. Yeah, we made a mistake, especially on a game-winning, game-deciding last play of the game.
So the NBA does this a lot better than the NFL because at least the NBA officials come out.
Yes, you're right.
Say things. The NFL is just like we're the refs.
Yeah.
I have been a long proponent that the referees should give a post-game press conference after every game. Explain yourself.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Let the media ask you the questions. I want to know, what the fuck is this? Like, why didn't you call it? Like, at what moment? And I honestly do believe that the crowd, the players, influence referees. Like, they're like, nah, man, we're trying to get the fuck out of here. Like, this is crazy. Like, we can't make this call. Like, you know what I mean? Especially if you know you've made bad calls earlier.
And that's what drove Oubre to do that. It wasn't because of that one call. It was the lead up of the last few minutes. It was a lot of. That's why Nick Nurse was acting the way he was acting. It was a lot of weird calls that were happening, man.
They called a terrible foul on Paul Reed. You couldn't get your hands any straighter. This dude ran right into Paul Reed and drew a foul and made both of those free throws. And that's kind of what started our, like, we were playing catch up at that point. And I'm like,
yeah.
And Paul Reed always finds himself in them calls. Like, there are times he is a little overly aggressive. It's like, man, it's 2-on-1, man. You can't make that. Just let him lay it up. Like, I appreciate the effort, but you are the starting center now until Embiid gets back. You can't do that. Like, let him score. They got you. They got you on this one. And that's just, I mean, I'm glad he's getting that experience because that's only going to help him in the playoffs. That's only going to help this team when Embiid gets back. But Oubre, you know, now him and Nick Nurse both got fined $50,000. So
I'm surprised Oubre didn't get more because the way he way he did it to every single ref. I've never seen that. Like you've seen somebody approach a ref and say something all the time. I mean, but to look at every single ref and just be like, all y'all, fuck all y'all.
Yeah,
forget all
bitches,
y'all. And your mom's a bitch.
And your grandma's a bitch. Reminds me of what's it?
What is that from? I said it's from something, right? What is that? Like use a bitch, use a bitch, use a bitch. That's from something.
So no, what's the guy's name? The comedian when he was talking about Will Smith after Will Smith. God, man, hold on, George something. He's like, hey man, how you feel about Will Smith?
He said I don't like
George Wallace. He was like, man, fuck Will Smith. He's like, I can't stand the Wills. Fuck Will Smith. Fuck Jada Pinkett Smith. Fuck them weird ass kids. Fuck Granny Smith apples. Fuck Stephen A. Smith. Like he just went crazy. He's like, I don't like anybody named Smith. He's like, Stephen A. Smith, Granny Smith apples. I was dying. And shout out to the Sixers, man. I think the reason because when Embiid went down and then it was like, yo, he's going to be gone for a while. It was kind of like, fuck, the season's over. But then the Sixers kind of held it together at the beginning there, and it's like, oh, wait, hold up. Not terrible. But then, you start losing some games, and then we're slipping down the power rankings, and now you're talking about play-in tournament, and you're like, fuck. There is a chance they can come out of the play-in tournament. I mean, there's 6 games left. Embiid has to – I mean, the last 3 games are home games. That's the only reason I'm thinking they may.
That's probably the best time for him, right there.
There's an away game with the Spurs. Now, apparently, he is traveling with the team this week. Like he's going to Cleveland. Now, obviously, he's not going to play, but traveling with the team on away games is something new. They got Cleveland tonight, the 29th of March. Then they're at Toronto, and then they're home to the Thunder, but then they're on the road to the Heat and the Grizzlies. And then the Spurs. There's a 3-game road trip, Heat, Grizzlies, Spurs, and then they finish out at home with the Pistons, Magic, and Nets. I mean,
you can't ask for a better 3-game end of season at home, against teams that you're supposed to beat. You can't ask for better games for Embiid to come back. So
my question is, though, is 3 games enough? He's missed half of the season.
Well, it's enough. It's definitely enough to beat the Bulls. It's definitely enough to beat the Hawks, right?
Yeah. So it's 5 games essentially enough to get ready for a playoff game versus, I mean,
the Celtics or the Bucks.
Yeah, because the Celtics, Bucks, or Knicks, right? Like the Celtics are the number 1 seed. I mean, it's going to be the Celtics.
How
the
far
Bucks,
behind the Bucks? Bucks just lost last night.
The Celtics have 57 wins. The Bucks have 46. I would assume the Celtics locked up the number 1 seed then because there's only 6-7 games left.
So it depends on how we're seeded. We have to win. I guess we have to win 2 games to be 7 or something.
Yeah. So the Heat are 39 and 33. We're 39 and 34. So we've played 1 more game than them. So we have 7 games left. They have 8. The Pacers have 41 wins. The Magic have 42, and the Cavs and the Knicks have 44. So it is possible to jump all the way back up to the 4th seed, depending on what happens between 3 and 7.
I mean, at this point, because the third is the Knicks, you said?
3rd is the Knicks at 44. They're 44 and 28, and the Cavs are 44 and 29. So
I would love to slip. I mean, it'd be great to go to 6 seed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I would love to play the Cavs.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I would love to avoid.
That would be a good. I'm not sure about the Knicks. The Knicks seem to their roster now seems to be Sixer killers.
Yo, they got a nice. They got a nice roster.
Even without Julius Randle. What they did at the trade deadline is every bit as impressive as what the Sixers did.
Yeah,
but I would love to see if we can, for Embiid to come back, Cavaliers or a Magic team. I'd be okay with that. So,
I feel all right.
We'll see. All right, what's up with your boy Diddy, man?
What you mean? Hey, my boy, man. Hey, my boy.
Hey, you used to rock. Hey, back in the day, you used to rock the shiny suits, but
the velour,
Sean John.
Hell yeah.
Hey, man, crazy shit's been happening.
Man, that dude.
So a subpoena for those who've been living under the rock. Diddy has been accused, not charged, investigated for sex trafficking.
What the fuck?
Just a bunch of stuff, man. Subpoena came out for all of Diddy's companies and anybody doing business with him in the trafficking probe and the sex trafficking probe.
He had a drug mule arrested.
Yep.
On his private jet.
Yep. He sold all of his stock in Revolt, flew to the Caribbean's non-extraditable area. He adopted some white girl and nobody knows where she's at.
Yo, you saw that video?
Yeah, it's creepy.
How do you record yourself doing that and just think that this is normal?
Money and power.
No, that's wild. It's one thing to do it. Another thing to go on live. You're Puff Daddy. You are Sean P. Diddy Combs.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you think it's okay to go on live. Like, yeah, I picked up this random underage minor white girl and to play with my sons. Yeah. Like, play how? What are you talking about, sir? You don't just pick up strangers to play with your children. I don't know what that means. And that sounds like kidnapping. I mean, it sounds like I don't know what it sounds like.
So, me and you were of age to remember all the rumors back in the 90s of Diddy being
funny.
One of them
Bati boys.
Yeah. One of them fun boys. And not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just it was a thing back then, and Mace kind of spoke to it like, "Yo, Diddy was on some shit, and I wasn't with it."
A lot of people were talking like that. A lot of people were saying were making references about his parties.
Yeah,
not like, yo, you shouldn't watch out for his parties. Yeah. Don't be alone with Diddy.
There's a video of him and Wayne where Diddy was like, "Yo, tell the young people."
Oh no, that's fake. I saw that.
Yo,
that's fake. he said tell the people.
He said don't stay away from them Diddy bopping people
that be dancing on stage.
He said they'd be dancing all that. Hey, shout out to Esperanza Compromise, Jason Daniel Baker. What up, man? Diddy, sick fuck is what it sounds like. Yeah. So again, me and Ty are closer to 40 than we are to 20.
Yeah.
Okay. We come from Diddy's prime.
Yeah, that's where we grew up. I mean,
we grew up on him.
The Bad Boys.
Bad Boy. We were blessed to live in the real hip hop era, and a lot of Diddy stuff.
The locks.
Like, it was just weird. Like, and then you think these people left him because, like, Loon. That's funny. Somebody said that anybody who stayed with Diddy, like, is kind of fucked over now. But like the people that left him went and found religion. Because it was like
Shine's a politician.
He's a politician. He left to be like some like Jewish like fucking.
Mace became a pastor.
Yeah, it's crazy. Loon, all of them was converted to Islam. Mace became a pastor. Like messing with Diddy, messed with them so bad that only savior for them was religion. No matter what religion, God, some version of God. They found whatever version worked for them. Bless them. Hey, that works for you. Yeah. And it's funny because it's like, but again, coming from that time, it's like. You don't really think about it because it's Diddy, and at that point in time, you just didn't have access to information. It was all just word on the street.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, whatever, man, that's Diddy.
Yeah.
But, I mean, from even, man, yes, hey, I was just going to say this. Didn't Tupac say, that was like the big thing. Matter of fact, that's where a large part of the Diddy got Tupac killed conspiracy came from, because Pac was like, hey, you fun boy, we ain't with that shit, man. West Coast. You know what I mean? Like death row,
Yo,
like
New
we
York-
ain't with it.
Your New York sleeve slickers out there slicking with each other.
And you know, Biggie wasn't with it. So like Biggie, but Biggie was also the cash cow. So I can see where Diddy didn't kind of bring that to him. But everybody else, you know what I mean? How you want to get on? Matter of fact, a couple years ago, people were kind of making fun of Cassie, which was also a questionable relationship at the time.
Yeah.
That I remember when that first happened, I was like, huh? I was like, he's messing with Cassie? And then a few years ago, if you remember, that she was kind of, people called her an extortionist. And then he didn't pay her. And now look. So I wonder who, hold up. I got something for that. Hold up. I wonder who tipped off the feds.
Yeah, it's everybody. I mean, people have been way more online talking about all kind of things, and that's exactly what it is. I mean, people swear. I don't know why people think social media isn't, straight up monitored 24/7 nonstop by the feds, but it is. I mean, and they're seeing what's happening. They see what people say, and it's like too many people saying these things isn't coincidence. And these are people that are involved, not just YouTube conspiracy theorists. No, these are people that are there, that know Diddy, that have his phone number. They're like, yo, it's just crazy there.
Yeah.
Usher, I mean, they keep playing the Usher video on Howard Stern where he, completely just says, yeah, I mean, I was underage. I was there. I seen some things I shouldn't have seen at my age. And it is what it is. And it's like, well, what does that mean, though? Like, what did you see?
That's
What-
Hollywood
what
culture
did
to
you
me.
have?
That's Hollywood. We just watched this documentary on Nickelodeon, man. I'm like, God.
I heard about it. I didn't watch it, but I heard
I couldn't make
about
it. I couldn't make it 45 minutes, bud.
I don't want to hear about it. It's sad and it's sick. And the fact that this kind of stuff happens in the world is wild,
So
And this is another thing, real quick. So Diddy, there's two things I want to say. Diddy, for him to have they have people come out of the water with scuba gear on, like all this kind of crazy people jumping on helicopters to raid his home, but yet he's not arrested. How?
he left. He left
Well-
his kids there.
Well, no, he's not even under. There's not even a warrant for him. He's not under arrest. He's not.
No. They raided his house to find. So they can
finding
raid your
evidence.
house to
Yeah.
find evidence.
Yeah, there's
so
some evidence.
the guy who supposedly killed Tupac, that's how they did it. He wasn't under arrest when I can't remember this gentleman's name, but he was kind of bragging about it. He's been bragging about it, especially recently. He wrote
He wrote a book about it. Yeah.
but a book is just a book. He kept it in a way where it was like, remember when OJ came out with the book, If I Would Have Done It? And it was like the exact, so it was kind of like that. But then so they kind of focused on his wife. And I guess his wife just gave them whatever they needed after years of probing her and kind of just calling her in. She must have said something, or she did something or maybe she just was sick of it. It was like, yeah, just go ahead, man. Just go ahead and get this shit out of it. And this dude had the plans. He had just shit like memorabilia. He had recordings. Some people say it's a setup, whatever. But that's what the police are looking for in this Diddy thing. A guy like Diddy, who is either running it or a major figurehead or just a part of it, he has something in there. He's a predator. And predator, I watch a lot of SVU, and predators like to keep trophies. And Diddy seems like a guy. He's a megalomaniac. He's a narcissist. Everything has to be about him. I got to imagine there's something in that house. And obviously there is, because they want
They
him.
said, I don't know if it's true or not, but they said they found hidden cameras in every single room.
I believe that.
And if that's the case, there's evidence on plenty of people. And there seems to be evidence on people that at his parties. And it seems to be the fact that this is part of the game. You get dirt on people. You bring in, they say he brought in prostitutes. He brought in underage people to do, and then get celebrities drunk, or not just drunk, drugged, drug celebrities so they're halfway awake, and now they're doing things they shouldn't be doing on camera, and now we can blackmail you.
Yeah.
And now I control you. Now I own you, basically, because I have video of you messing with a 12-year-old boy. So now you got to do whatever I say. Now you make money, and they say that's kind of what Epstein was doing. And a lot of this Hollywood stuff is happening. This Hollywood weird stuff, and it's sad. It's sick, man. Yeah, Guy Williams.
Shout out to him. Hey,
Yo.
hold up. Hey, let's see.
Definitely shout to Cat. Yo, he went from being. It's crazy how I will admit that I got conned into it, thinking that Cat Williams was a crackhead.
Yeah.
I did. I got conned into thinking like he's a crazy, off the wall crackhead. Like I fell for it, and so I really looked back like, oh, you could tell he's just different, and he seems like he just smokes a lot of marijuana just because he just don't want to think about a lot of things because he's seen too many different things. Yeah. So shout out to Cat Williams. We all owe that guy an apology. He's the new Dave Chappelle almost. I mean, he's one of those guys that kind of belong on the extended Mount Rushmore of people we should respect in the comedy game and just the whole entertainment industry in general, because he's kept it real. He kept it real, and definitely shout out to him.
Yeah, it's funny. You get these people that come in and they're like, "Oh, he's crazy," or whatever, and then you come to find out that
everybody else is crazy.
It's everybody else that's crazy. Like it's sometimes, and there are people that are crazy, and you kind of have to be like, "All right, man, whatever." Yeah. But then there's like crazy, and you just gotta kind of take it with a grain of salt. But everything Cat Williams said, you just got to prove you're not crazy, and Cat Williams has done that. Like now, he's kind of written his own ticket, because now after the Shannon Sharp thing, like he can kind of just do whatever he says now. Is kind of like, he's good, man. He's good to go.
He is.
And this Diddy thing, the house of cards is falling, man, and I'm interested to see, because typically when this thing happens, you get some support, right? Like when the Bill Cosby thing happened, there were people that came out and supported Bill. Nah, he couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And apparently he did, but you still had people that said no way. And there's nobody that's coming to Diddy's.
To this day, people still have his Cosby's back a little bit, because it's like, all right, this is, like you said, it's kind of Hollywood stuff, and it's like it wasn't minors, right? And he obviously still drugged women, which is wild to do. Yeah. But nothing. It's bad. and Diddy is just on a little bit different of a level. I mean, it seems than Cosby, and I hope justice comes down. Like you know me, I'm a proponent of basically I support everything black. Mm-hmm. I support everything black. So it's like I want to have our people's backs, because I know that there's more to these stories. Like I doubt Diddy woke up and just became an evil person. I know that. There's another thing I wanted to say was, if he is doing this stuff, it's not his. He's not the ringleader. No. There is somebody else. He's part of this whole network of things that are happening. So it's like, it does make me upset that he's the one that seems like being singled out. Like, well, if he's trafficking women, where are they going? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So who is he trafficking them to? Who's a real ringleader? What is, like, can we pull the veil off of all this shit? Because this isn't Diddy's. It isn't Holly Diddy. No, it's Holly Weird. It's been happening way before Diddy even came on the scene. He's been taught to do this by somebody. So there needs to be a real table flip in the entertainment industry, and this shit needs to change, man. Because
expose them all.
Expose them all.
Expose our heroes.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, Epstein has this whole list of people, and there's like, well, why we don't hear about it? Like, how do we not? Like, I know that the FBI, I know the government, I know they know about things.
They don't want us to know.
They don't want us to know, and it's like, come on, man. You have senators, and different people that are involved. Like, these people need to be outed immediately. We need to know who these people are. If there's cameras in Diddy's house, and you have video of anybody doing anything weird, we need to do something about it. And we should know about it as a public, because we're going to these VIP back rooms with these celebrities, and people want to go to these carpet, the red carpet events and all these different things. It's like, man, we need to know who the ops are, man, and who the pedophiles are. It's wild, man. This pedophilia stuff, sex trafficking, human trafficking stuff is the saddest thing that can happen in society, and I hate to hear about it.
Was Diddy and Meek Mill clapping cheeks?
Yo, I hope not. We were talking about this shit earlier. Don't listen to it. I mean, you probably will now.
I'm going to listen to it.
It's nasty.
Did Meek Mill be like, yo, hold up, wait a minute?
It was too. Listen, there's audio, and people were saying this is Diddy and Meek Mill clapping cheeks, and I was like, what? And I don't think I click on it. I just happened to hear it, and then, like, as I'm hearing it, I'm reading the caption like, what the fuck am I listening to? And it's disgusting. God. It sounds like exactly what you think it sounds like, but the voices of these two men, they do resemble they resemble Meek and Diddy a little bit, and it's like, this is disgusting. If this really is a video of two men doing this, not that, that ain't wrong with that. It sounded like disgusting. I mean, that kind of act can be considered a disgusting act for anybody.
So I hope it's not true, because I like Meek Mill. I'm a fan of his music, but hashtag Freak Mill is now circulating, and once you get the hashtag, it's hard to come back from that.
Yeah,
the diddler is another funny thing that's happening. And I'm not trying to make light of sex trafficking, but it's just the way these things escalate is getting out of control. And so there's also a thing where Meek Mill went on TikTok and said, "Yo, forgive me for what I did with Diddy," but now people are trying to say that's AI. I don't know if that's the internet fooling me. I don't know, but people in power. There is evidence and there's history of people in power using sex to get what they want. Harvey Weinstein, primarily, right? Hey, you want to be in this movie? Got to suck me off.
No.
Men and women. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, that's all over the place. Pedophilia, all these things. I just don't. It's like, like in Hollywood, there's like John Cena just did the Oscars, and he had to go out there and he was basically naked for a bit, and that was like they call it the humiliation ritual. You got to just. It's like these ritualistic, like almost like satanic type deals, like you go through, man, and to get famous, and you think about people who are willing to do, like Cat Williams spoke about it, about the people wearing dresses and doing stuff, and Marlon Wayans was like, "Oh, white chicks made this." You don't say nothing about Robin Williams doing Mrs. Doubtfire. I was like, "Well, no. If Robin Williams had a habit and all he did was women in dresses." That'd be different than what he's talking about with Ricky Smiley, who seems to only do women in dresses. Tyler Perry, who seems to only do women in dresses.
His whole claim to fame.
So like, it's one thing for one actor to take a role, Tom Hanks and Dustin Hoffman and all these people who have done one role, and maybe some bits, to make fun of that role. But when your whole entire, filmography is just you in a dress. That's what Cat Williams is talking about. He's not talking about the one or two times you did it for a comedy movie. He's talking about, this is what you're known for. Is Robin Williams, he's known for Mrs. Doubtfire, but that's not his biggest role. You know what I mean? He's known for bigger and better things.
Yeah.
Marlon Wayans is not known for what, I guess White Chicks is probably his biggest thing, but he's known for way more. He's a Wayans brother. Like he's not, White Chicks is just, it's a classic movie, but he's known for way more than White Chicks. Ricky Smiley, I don't know anything he's in that he's not playing some old black lady.
And obviously he seems a little, even when he plays a man, he's a little.
Yeah, he might be one of those no Diddy fun boys, and listen, that's okay, man. Whatever. Just don't act. My thing is, don't act like you're not. Like that. That's my problem. Be who you are. That's fine, but don't act like you're not.
That's where I stand. That's exactly where I stand. Because I gotta watch what I say. But I gotta watch what I say. But no, for real, like whatever you do is what you do. But like you said, don't act like it's not what you're doing. Like
don't act like we're nuts. Like no, we're not nuts.
Yeah. You like nuts. Like just say it.
Yeah, just say it. It's okay, man.
Just like I don't mind. I like some nuts sometimes. Just admit it. I mean. Or do what Dwight Howard said. I mean, it's none of your business.
Dwight Howard, lay my wood. Dwight Howard, get out of here.
Oh,
that's why you're not in the league. R. Kelly speaks on the Diddy situation. They coming for him. I can tell you it's about to go. Satisfy You has a whole new meaning. I used to like that song.
You know what today? I wanted to say that. I put the note down and put a check mark because I'm about to say it. Mm-hmm. Today, I went to 3 weddings today. This is like a record. I feel like I should be in a Guinness Book of World Records.
Shout out to you.
Who's been to 3 weddings in 2 hours? Between 10 and 12, I was at 3 weddings. But the first wedding, the exit song was R. Kelly. And I was just like, I'm looking around like, does anybody else feel weird about R. Kelly playing right now with children around? I mean, I don't like we're celebrating a union of 2 people in love that have children, and you're gonna play R. Kelly.
Wedding DJ should know better.
Well, no, supposedly I heard later that they asked for it. This is the song they wanted, and it's like, well, I hope those children are fine. And I was like, I hope they don't play Diddy next. I hope they don't play Diddy or I don't even know,
RuPaul. Yeah, RuPaul.
But
Bill Cosby.
The Bill Cosby track.
The Bill Cosby track, yo. Bill Cosby had an episode of Cosby Show where he made barbecue sauce, and I think the gag throughout the episode was that his barbecue sauce made people horny.
Yeah,
and so
I don't remember that show.
I was like, "Yo, this guy is sick." Like he's like, "You love my barbecue sauce," and I'm like, "Oh shit!" This guy was telling us the whole time. He's been telling us the whole time. Diddy's been telling us the whole time. Take that. Bad boy for life. Bad boy, like who? Yeah. We're heterosexual males. That's okay.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever classified? Hey, I'm a bad boy. Have you ever told anybody that to a woman? Hey, I'm being real. That's not something heterosexual males like. That's not part of the lexicon, right? Like
vernacular. No,
that's
it's
not. Hey, yo, girl, I'm a bad boy. Yeah, come on. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's something that the fun boys use, and again, this is not an indictment. Be who you are. Just don't act like you're not. There's certain truths in life, and so like, and you just look at like R. Kelly. You listen to his songs now, and
they're not the same.
it's not.
It's
and
not.
you can hear it now. Like you know what you're looking for. I did that with Diddy. Like some of his ad libs and some of his just stuff that he says and the stuff that he does. I'm like, man, he's been telling us.
Yeah, you remember that Frank Ocean track?
Yo,
and we didn't know at the time he was gay, and he's like, "I've been thinking about you, ooh nah nah nah.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about you," and then you heard later like he was gay. Then you're like, wait, he says, "Boy, I've been thinking about you." He says literally, "Boy, I've been thinking about you," and nobody thought about like he's saying, "Boy, I've been thinking about you." Like that's what he's been saying. He wasn't lying to nobody. You know what? Shout out to Frank Ocean.
Yeah,
You know,
I like
shout-
Frank Ocean, man. You need to give us
real.
another Novocaine.
Same thing with what's the other gay great artist? Sam Smith. I love Sam Smith.
Luther Vandross. Luther
race-
Vandross He made songs for women. He was talking to women, but he was gay the whole time. Shout out to you. But there were some songs where he could be talking to a dude. Like he was very clever.
Yeah, with lyrics.
With the lyrics. But there were certain songs where he was talking to a woman. But there were some of the hits. Hey, and I'm still gonna listen to him. I fuck with Luke. Hey, again, I don't care if you're gay. That's if Luther Vandross is on, I'm gonna sing it. I don't care who he's talking to, but R. Kelly's singing a song. I care who he's talking to, and there's a difference.
Especially when it's like it's different. Listen, it's one thing to be.
It's a minor.
It's one. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. It's one thing to be gay. You could listen, do what you do, but minors. Now we're crossing a line that should never be crossed.
Yeah.
Ever. And they're trying to make it into a thing nowadays, like where pedophilia isn't pedophilia. It's a disorder or a
That's nuts.
what do they call it? It was like minor attracted or something.
Yeah,
like
something crazy.
It's just what I am. I just can't help but to be attracted to minors. Like no, why don't you attract yourself to a rope and noose? I'm sorry. That's we're gonna get canned. This is where the network ends.
Yeah. We're almost done at the happy hour.
The network's about to be over. This is what wine will do to you.
Yeah. So yeah, the official charges are sexual assault, human trafficking, operating blackmail operation with hidden cameras. Supposedly, there are politicians, athletes, members of the music industry recorded in homosexual acts and other compromising positions.
Compromising positions. I wonder what they mean by compromising positions. Like literally a position that's compromised. I don't know.
So according to whatever this probe that they're this investigation, it says that Diddy was allegedly drugging underage girls and taking them across state lines. His adopting of a random white girl that nobody's ever seen ever again.
It wasn't adoption.
Whatever it is.
He picked her up off the street.
Yeah.
And that was it.
They called it an adoption. Diddy, that was back in 2020. Other pedophilic behaviors, I'll say. I'm not going to go out and say, he's a pedophile, but Diddy appeared on Dan Schneider's All That, which, again, we just talked about the documentary, that employed 7 child predators and molested the child stars for years. That was a big part of that documentary where this wasn't people who were pedophiles because they got caught working on the show or after the show. They were pedophiles beforehand, and they got hired to work on a show with minors. That's really the crux of to me, that's it. Like whoever is part of that needs to pay.
For real. That's what I'm saying. Like this is not a Diddy just woke up and just started kidnapping children. This is a systematic situation that's been happening in the entertainment industry and even outside the entertainment industry, just in society in general. This dark side of society exists, and we need to be vigilant and paying attention to it and making sure our children don't fall victim or our neighbors' children don't fall victim. And we need to make sure everybody's the veil's lifted off of it and people are brought to justice. And this kind of thing, this is the only time I believe in things like the death penalty, Like I don't believe in coming. I don't believe in redemption for stuff like this. I mean, in terms of taking away the lives of innocent children.
Yeah.
Like they have no reason to be part of something like this.
No.
So, people that are involved with that, I have no remorse, zero remorse for people like that do stuff like that.
Shout out to 50 Cent, who laughed at Diddy when Diddy was like, yo, let me go take you shopping. And 50 was like, bro, I'm a grown man.
You're not going to take me shopping,
You aren't
bro.
taking me shit. Yeah, I'm not going shopping with you. Like that's
And that's what he did with Meek, though. He did take Meek shopping, and there's pictures of him and Meek wearing the same outfit. Bro,
Dog, we're
Listen,
related. I'm not wearing, like, we stopped that when we were like 10. I'm not wearing the same outfit as you.
Listen, we do wear memorabilia. We do wear
No.
There's no different. It's way different. We wear logos. We wear our network
Right,
stuff. That's
right.
way
That's
different. No,
That's
we
different.
don't go to the store and shop for the same
And be like, yo,
item.
let me get that.
And then wear it together to an event as if it were coordinating. Man, I have a woman now. I was gonna say this earlier about the boy thing. I don't even like the term boy. First of all, like I refuse to use it. My girl is like even I don't want to say. I try to stop that. My woman, she's like, she's mad. She's gonna get mad. I'm even saying this online, but she's like, why don't you tell people I'm your girlfriend? I said, because you're not my girlfriend. You're my woman. I don't want you to be my girl. You're my woman, and I'm not your boy. And you do not call me your boy. I am your man. Like I don't even like that term. F that term, boyfriend. I ain't your boyfriend.
You know who came up with that?
Liberal media.
Definitely, I probably was.
So yeah, that was like very Diddy centric. That wasn't the plan. We just turned on the mics, and that's kind of the direction we went.
Well, it's what's happening.
That's what's happening.
That's what's on my mind. It's crazy. Like I don't like the gossip stuff. I don't like the entertainment industry stuff. But it's such a big deal for just the world in general. Because even when the Epstein thing was happening, I was like tapped in. I want to hear what was happening. Like who were going to his island? What were they doing there? I want to know this stuff, not just to be voyeuristic, but to just know what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. Like, there's kids, children coming over the border, and they're disappearing, they're saying. They're saying they're losing children. Like, how do you lose children? How do you just, we got about 10,000 children. I don't know where the hell they at. What do you mean? What do you mean?
That's sick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All this stuff is tied in together. I refuse to believe it's not. So if there's children missing from the border and Diddy has children missing, like, no, this is all tied in together somehow, some way. So, and you wonder why the government isn't pulling the plug on that kind of stuff. Is probably because they're probably the top of the chain. Mm-hmm. They're probably part of it. So I'm frustrated. I need some more wine.
It's all good.
I need some marijuana.
That helps too. Legalize that shit, man.
Hey, man.
Is that legalized in? I'm in North Carolina. It's not legal.
We go right now. I get my marijuana from Jersey. You go to the dispensary right now and buy some marijuana without any licensing besides regular ID to show you that you're over 18.
Man, shout out to Jersey
Or 21. I forgot the number is.
I'm trying to think. There's nothing else big happening. NFL, like the NFL rule changes, like the hip drop tackle.
Oh, of course not. Of course not. I mean,
I like the kickoff. I don't like the hip drop tackle.
I know I didn't really understand the kickoff all the way.
So basically, the players, they move the kicker back to prevent them from kicking it into the end zone. They moved all the players up, so they're basically only like 5 or 10 yards in front of each other. They can't start running until the ball either hits the landing zone, which I believe is 10 yards to the 40 or 10 yards to the 30, basically when the player catches it.
Yeah.
And then you can start running.
Gotcha.
It's an XFL thing. It started in the XFL, was wildly popular because it basically forces kick returns.
Yeah.
But there's not enough space where it's an advantage to the kicker, but players also aren't running full speed, cracking each other and getting hurt.
Oh, yeah, I'm cool with that. I mean,
it was cool.
Yeah, I'm cool. I mean, having more returns, I like. Yeah. I do like that, and I'm not too. I don't think kickoffs are that big of a part of the game. I mean, obviously they are because you can literally score on that play. But I mean, you can score on any play for real, right? Any play can be a scoring play for either side. Yeah. So I'm cool with it. The hip drop tackle thing, that kind of stuff is just, even when they like did the lowering of the head stuff. I mean, certain things is like it's hard to enforce certain things. Like, how do you know it wasn't intentional, or how do you know? Some things is hard. It's hard to like just not put your head down or not to hit somebody in a certain place. Like, what if you only are able to hit somebody in a certain place? Like, you not hit them? Like, I mean, it becomes too hard. And what I've heard from players is that when you have that kind of stuff in your mind, like I gotta play differently, is when injuries happen because you're trying to do something that's not natural.
Yeah.
So
The problem with it is so an official basically said it's not the hip drop tackle per se. It's when you do it and then you twist.
Yeah.
But I'm like, how can you officiate that? Like
Yeah.
how it basically you're going to stop players from tackling from behind. You basically have to just hold the guy and hope somebody comes and helps you take him down.
Because in reality, if you're a cornerback trying to take out Derrick Henry, like you really don't have much of a choice but to grab
your
and
weight.
turn
And drop your weight
and do something. Yeah.
But to me that like, all right, so let's say I grab Derrick Henry around the waist and I'm just holding him and I'm running with him. So basically I'm holding him and then somebody's going to come around and crack him.
Yeah.
So is that safer?
Exactly.
I know. I don't know. It's
to be flagged soon. It's gonna be flagged soon. I've heard people talking about it's gonna be robots and stuff.
Jason said the game we love will be unrecognizable. They're making defense harder.
Eventually, it will be unrecognizable. I give it at least 10 years, 15 years. It's going to be completely unrecognizable because older people are dying and younger people are coming up and they're sissies.
Yeah, it's different nowadays. They things are easier, and so with that, it's like the hip drop tackle has been around forever. It's never been a problem. Maybe this past year there's been more injuries, but the injuries aren't really because of the hip drop tackle. The injuries are because the hip drop tackle, which to me isn't a real term. It's I'm tackling you, and I'm using my weight as an advantage because that's what tackling is. Yeah. I'm grabbing you, and I'm using my strength and my weight to bring you down. I just happen to be doing it from behind because that's the only time I can grab you. But these things are happening because of artificial turf. It's not happening on natural grass.
Yeah.
Artificial turf has been taking out people's knees without the tackle. Yeah. It just happens to be this artificial turf, this hybrid turf you're using. Just everybody needs to go to natural grass, and I guarantee you injuries will get cut down. You're cutting preseason. You're about to add an 18th game. You're going to cut yet another preseason game down. These players, you're not allowed to hit. You're not allowed to do 2-a-days. The players are practicing less. Players are getting hit less. So yeah, you're going to get hurt when the hits become real. And that's on both sides, hitting and getting hit, because you're not doing them in practice or because you're not practicing that skill enough. You can be conditioned. You can lift weights. You can run routes and all that shit. That's great in practice. But you have to be able to hit each other. You have to do it. And when you take less practice away from players, that's when the injuries are happening. So football's going to have a tough time, adjusting. Again, this is the new era we're in. Fine, but don't complain.
When does the new league start? The
UFL? I believe it's supposed to start here pretty soon.
Should be any day now.
It should. For some reason, my dumbass thought it started like 2 weeks after the Super Bowl.
That's what I thought too. I thought the same thing. I thought it was like right after. I thought that's what happened last year. I could have swore
it was like 2 weeks after.
It was like,
and that was the XFL. But see, the UFL is different. Like the UFL is the USFL and XFL together. So there's before they were separate. Now it's just one thing. They basically took half of the XFL teams, the good ones, and then half of the good USFL teams, and made one league. Starts Sunday.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. Yeah, perfect timing. Mm-hmm. We're gonna have to
Sunday, March 31st. We got the Defenders playing the San Antonio Brahmas at 12, and then the Memphis Showboats playing the Houston Roughnecks at 3. And then there's going to be a post-game show, UFL Today. You can check that out on ESPN.
No. F them.
So check it out on the Give Us a Shot Network.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Man, yeah, we should take over the UFL space. We should do like.
I think we said that last year.
I know. We didn't have time. We're gonna do it this year though. I'm gonna do it. I'll do post game for.
Well, we're about to take over though. We're currently taking over.
Okay.
The WNBA. We're not just WNBA. Women's basketball. We're currently in the process of taking that over.
Yeah.
You want to women's basketball?
Right here. Give Us a Shot Network. Shout out to Protect Our Queens. Shout out to Dwayne Marcus and Martin. They do a wonderful job.
Yes.
And then now we have the shy kid Mike Hughes, who actually writes for the Chicago Sky.
Yep.
He covers the Chicago Sky. He also covers the Chicago Cubs, so shout out to them. Opening day for them was yesterday. But he wants to start writing more articles.
We had Chaz Franklin on the network.
Yep.
Chaz Franklin.
Coaching USA basketball right now. Shout out to him.
Oh, is he?
Yep.
Full-time job is the player development coach of the Sky.
Yep.
And, Protect Our Queens, they've interviewed a bunch of high level high school and college women's players that unfortunately I don't know. All I know is Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
But these are women that are.
But that's what we have them for. Like we
exactly.
don't.
We need to
We're
learn
not
more.
well versed enough. I'm not well versed enough. You're not well versed enough. But that's why we have them. So check out Protect Our Queens on the Give Us a Shot Network. Check out the Shy Kid, Mike Hughes with the Shy Kid podcast. They do excellent and they care. And it's dope. It's dope for men.
It's not BS.
It's not BS.
They watch and they care.
So if you are into women's basketball, they got you covered. And honestly, because of them, I have paid more attention specifically to the March Madness, the women's tournament. And I am going to make an effort to watch more WNBA because now, because of them, I know who to look for. I know who the names are. I know who to watch.
And plus, you got to have something to say. You know, so like,
Yeah.
if they know about it, and that's why I even watch certain sports and realities because I know I'm going to have to see another man some point, or another person that watches sports, and they're going to start talking about it. And if I don't know what's happening, I just sit there and listen. Like, I got to watch a little bit of sports just so I can have something to talk about.
Yeah.
But I've been thinking hard, like the fact that we're the Give Us a Shot network and we're becoming a premier network for women's basketball is like perfect naming, perfect marriage because we got to give the women a shot.
Yeah.
You got to give them a shot.
Yeah. And it's dope. Like Caitlin Clark is dope. I like that she talks shit to everybody.
Yo.
I know people don't like that shit, but I love it.
It's sports. Like, how do you not like that? This is what sports is about. But I wanted to ask about Big Three. Ice Cube offered a contract to Caitlin Clark.
Shit.
I didn't hear anything new about it. I really highly doubt she accepts it. Which
$75 million though. She ain't making that in the
I don't think it was 75. I think it was $5 million.
Or $5 million.
But because her contract in WNBA would be 75,000.
That's what it is. 75,000.
So that's. Wait, I don't know the math of that. What is like 100 times more? I mean, how?
More than 100 times more. More than 100
It's
times
crazy. 75K compared to $5 million.
Yeah.
Why would she not accept it? I would think, but it seems just like a gimmicky thing because even though basketball isn't like football, it's still rough and it's still physical. Yeah. Imagine like I'm worried about seeing somebody like her because she's not even big. She's not like she's a big. Yeah. She is little. She is skinny. Yeah, she is small. Yeah, like I was worried about Steph Curry, but in reality, he balls, right? So in reality, I like if you're good enough, if you're quick enough, you have enough moves, and you can make a shot. She could play, right? She could, but on a consistent basis against certain kind of people, it gets scary because if she goes in for a layup and gets hit hard on accident, you know what I'm saying? Like hard fouls happen.
See, to me that don't matter though because like I joke with Dwayne Marcus and Martin on Protect Our Queens because they hate when I say this, but I say Sabrina Ionescu is the face of the WNBA.
Yeah, and
they don't like that because they're taking it as the best. And I explain to them, I am a casual. Yeah. At best. Yeah. On my best day, I am a casual WNBA
and
fan.
That's who's on ESPN.
And that's who was doing the 3-point contest with Steph Curry.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing else about what they got going on.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, she's not even the best player on her team. Breonna Stewart. No. Asia Wilson's the best player in the WNBA. I was like,
who?
That may be true.
Who?
Hey, that may be true. Las Vegas Aces are dope. I like Kelsey Plum. Yeah. All them, but you know what I know? I know Sabrina Ionescu was dope, and she was with Kobe. And she's doing the 3-point contest with Steph. She's the face of the WNBA. Sorry, buddy. Like, to me, now, again, I am a casual fan, but that's who, like, certain things, professional wrestling, right? WWE gets a lot of flack because they're a sports entertainment. They're not making it for wrestling fans because you know who's watching it? Wrestling fans are going to watch it no matter what.
Yeah.
You guys are going to watch the WNBA no matter what because you are WNBA fans. The product isn't made for you. That's what people don't understand. The stuff you see on TV is not. It can't be made for you. It's made for me, for the casual fan, because they have to somehow get it in there. At this point in time, Sabrina Ionescu is the most marketable star the WNBA has. That's why she's in all the commercials.
In New York,
and she's in New York on top of it. Caitlin Clark now.
She's about to beat a real. I mean, in my opinion, she's the face of women's basketball.
She's the face of women's basketball.
Yeah.
There is not a bigger star in the sport than her.
No.
A lot of that has to do with the school she goes to. She's in a small school. A lot of it has to do that she's a 4-year student, and she has a story. And that's the problem with men's college basketball because these guys are one and done. There's not enough time to build the story. Again, not for the college basketball fan who knows who the best male player in college basketball is. I don't
know any of them.
I don't know none of them.
Only college basketball player I know is Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, exactly.
and I don't watch. I don't watch it. It's crazy.
But those guys will tell you that Juju Watkins is better than her.
Who?
Not to me.
Who?
Exactly. Freshman from Southern California. Good for her.
Okay.
Good for her.
Are you talking about that woman, Juju?
Yes.
Oh,
women.
okay.
Audie Crooks, who was at Iowa State, just dropped 40, and she's a big woman, not big like tall, like no, she's
Girthy.
She's girthy, which is dope to me. She dropped 40, and upset a team that she lost in the next round, but she made herself. She's a freshman.
Yeah.
She put herself on the map. That's Caitlin Clark's on her way out. If Audie Crooks can.
Yeah.
I'm not telling her to drop a bunch of weight, but you could be a little bit healthier, work on your conditioning.
Yeah.
You could still be a big player.
Yeah.
But now there's a story. You started your story now.
Yeah.
Build on that. Get a little better skill-wise. Try to, maybe try to get in the better shape. Nobody's asking you to drop 100 pounds, but, it'll only help you.
We gotta be careful about talking about women getting in shape, by the way, too. We can talk about men, but women about getting in shape. You already got in trouble about talking about Taylor Swift's shape.
The ironing board?
Stop saying it. We gonna get canceled again.
I'm just trying to remember what exactly, so I don't say it again.
No, but that is a double standard, though. We talked about it at that time when you were mentioning her shape, and people were like going and up in arms. But yeah, if we mention a man's shape, nobody says anything.
Chet Holmgren,
people go hard on him, but nobody's like, stop body shaming Chet Holmgren, stop body shaming Charles Barkley, or stop body shaming certain men. But as soon as you say something about a woman's body, it's like, you're body shaming. Like, no, I'm just talking about the facts right now. I mean, I'm just speaking the truth. I mean, she's a little girthy. Caitlin Clark's a little skinny. I mean, it's just what it is. It's just observation. I don't know why you're mad at me.
All right, here, I'll leave it up. Hey, if you're a man out there and you weigh less than 200 pounds and you're over 30 years old, you're not a man.
Damn, I need to go eat.
Go eat. Ty, go eat. There, I'm saving everybody.